Have you ever wondered why your Facebook ads aren't converting or why your Google listing is buried on page 3? Or maybe you're thinking, does anyone actually make money with digital marketing anymore? Well, here's the truth. Some businesses are getting 14 times returns on their ad spend, and others are scaling past 7 figures with the same platforms that you're using. They're just using them strategically. And today's guest is the strategist behind those results. Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. Welcome back to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Man, if you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, or creative that's ready to market smarter, not harder, you are in the right place for today's episode because we're going to be talking about something that I've been dying to talk about all summer. And due to weird scheduling conflicts, entirely on my computer's end. This interview has been like just at the tip of my fingers all summer long. But wait no longer, because if you're struggling to get eyes on your business online or tired of throwing money at ads without seeing any results, today's guest, they've been driving serious digital growth before most people even knew what SEO was. So I'm so excited to introduce today's guest, Marilyn Jenkins, to the show. Marilyn is the founder of MJ Media Group and has been helping local businesses grow since the early 90s. She is a true digital pioneer, a strategist who's worked across Meta, Google, SEO, streaming TV, you name it. And her clients have seen some massive results. We're talking multiple 7-figure growth and ROIs as high as 14x. Marilyn, thank you for bearing with me all summer long. Thank you for coming on Rocky Mountain Marketing. I am so excited to talk with you today.
I am excited to talk with you. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, well, and you've been in this game since the early days of digital. I'd love to start there. So what's one thing that's totally changed?
I think how we do marketing. It's like I've been a geek since I was a child, so it's just was so normal when it came out to everybody was like, I have to have a website. I don't know what it is, but I have to have a website. And of course they would come to me. And then, okay, I have a website. Now I need traffic. What do I need to do? So it's been this, blossoming thing. And, you learn every step of the way and you're consistently learning. So I think over the course of time, you've seen a lot of things change. And, years ago, you would put all of your keywords in the bottom of your website in the same color as the background. So no one saw it, but you've got like 3 pages of blank underneath the last content. So it's like clearly there's something there. So the biggest thing that's changed is how the search engines have gotten smarter when it comes to tricks. And now with Google Business Profile and that sort of thing, it's very, very simple, if you will, to be known locally. You just have to do the right things and tell Google and Yahoo Bing exactly what you want and do that consistently.
So I think that, it feels like things are always changing, like, whether it's, AI or, like Bitcoins. And I mean, like, that's not what we're talking about today. But I mean, like you said, certain fundamentals, like I think that there's certain things like knowing your customer, having a clear offer, stuff like that, that it never goes out of style, right? So you've built a business helping local businesses. And that's one of the things that makes me so excited about you being a guest on today's show. So because you've built a business helping local businesses scale to 7 figures and beyond. And your toolkit is stacked: SEO, Google Business Profile optimization, streaming TV ads, and more.
Yes.
So let's talk about this strategy.
Yeah, so the streaming TV ads is very exciting. One of the things is really important is branding. We, uh, as we see, we get so many advertising messages that we're exposed to every day, and it's always been like since the 70s, 80s. You could see in advertising, someone needs to see you 7 to 9 times before they'll make a decision. Now it's even more. So, you want your Google business profile optimized to the point that Google knows what searches you should be in. You need to make sure your website is up to date and that you're on all the relevant sites. But when it comes to people streaming TV on their or streaming shows on their phone, their iPad, their smart TV at home, 84% of homes in the US have more than one streaming platform subscription. Could be Netflix, could be Tubi, Roku, Amazon Video, all of those. And many of those people will choose a cheaper subscription and they'll watch ads instead of spending more money. Now, the kicker on this is, and the beauty of being a business owner and running those ads is they're non-skippable. So if any of you guys listening are watching Tubi or Amazon Video, which I watch a lot, when a commercial comes on, you'll see in the top left corner how many, one of two, and then it counts down. You can't fast forward through those. You can't skip. So it's a great place for a home service company, a local business to get branding, to get exposure and get people to pick up the phone and call you immediately.
And I love that we're talking about this because I know, well, especially, my husband and I watch the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. And I know we're talking about Tubi and all that, but I mean, it's one of our biggest pet peeves is like, no, we can't skip this because we've gotten so used to fast forwarding through the commercials and being able to skip through oh, well, we don't need to watch this, or I'll just, hit the skip button. And now we pay for these streaming services, and unless you pay the premium, which even now, like I'm not going to pay whatever it is, like $26 a month or whatever for Disney Plus, just so I can skip through. Like, you have to watch the ads again.
Yeah.
And so this is the opportunity for a lot of people to be the pioneers. Like, this is your time to get that early access in before, I guess, the rest of the world kind of figures it out again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like we've gone full circle. We've gone from commercials, commercial supported TV back in the 80s, 90s to the streaming services to now it's going back to where, there's ad supported. So more people can see the content, but they see it at a lower price. So the people getting in on it now are going to get the benefits of being the one that's being found, being the one think about, you need a plumber, you need your HVAC service, any of those type of home services, any of the local business, restaurant, any of those kinds of things, you get more exposure. And all it takes is a 15 to a 30-second commercial. And it's not like network television. It's extremely cost effective. So it's definitely something that you want to look at. And you can be as granular as, say, Google PPC or Facebook ads. And when I say that, I mean by types of behavior, income level, or types of demographics, languages, that sort of thing. You can, because we know that information based on what they've been watching. And so collecting the data, we can actually be very specific in targeting the households your ad will show up in.
Let's dive deeper into that, because how can we make, you said cost effective, you said affordable, you said local, you said all the right words. And I hope that everyone listening was like, their ears perked up and said, like, okay, how can I get my business on TV in a cost effective way that's affordable for me in front of my local audience?
Yes. So the minimum ad spend on most of these platforms is $2,000 a month. Now, when it comes
to affordable,
it's very affordable. When it comes to the platform also has all of the channels and the networks. Okay. So you can get your commercial done, and it could be something as simple as a voiceover and then what we call B-roll. So it's either videos of you and your business, and maybe let's just use the idea of like HVAC and trucks, right? So you have someone take a camera, and it could be an iPhone. It's HD video. It's not this 4K needing a $4,000 or multi-million-dollar camera. It's not lots of equipment. So you can go out and take a picture of your guys and, doing a job, or, your truck's parked out front and you show you've got multiple trucks, or your whatever. You can have that type of thing, and then them doing a job. It's branding. And it could be just as simple as that. And you being a voiceover saying what you do, who you help, who your ideal client is, and call this number. So it's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's the thing to do. And we get it on as many channels in the households that are relevant. Now, when I say that we can be very granular, because of the behavior that you're exhibiting whenever you're watching shows or where you're at when you're watching shows. So we can do that sort of thing and say, okay, maybe you do baby services. So we can say, I want to target new parents or, that sort of thing. Can do, maybe you wanted to do new grandparents. So there's different things, different types of demographics that you can do. So you want to do only Spanish speakers because you've got a new restaurant or maybe a new book or something. So you can get very specific. And as the audience is growing and you're gathering more data, you're also getting opportunities to expand your audience into more households in your area. You can be as granular as far in your geographic area as a zip code.
I love all this. And I think that, so let's just say, explain some of the other types of businesses that you've helped see some great results with. I mean, you just explained like maybe like a baby service, but like, what if you're a real estate agent or
Real estate agent works really well. Home painters, any home services, like I think plumbers, electricians, any of those types of things. But home services works really well. Law firms, anything that's specifically local. I mean, of course you can do nationwide, but I really focus on local businesses to help them be found locally. Because
Mhm.
ideally you want people to think of you whenever they need that particular service in your area. You want to be that go-to painter, that go-to plumber. So that's what we focus on as local businesses. The streaming TV ads work extremely well for home services and, like I said, professional services. So think CPAs as well. Those people that are locally, and that's, and people are sitting there and they're watching, they're streaming on, and it's in the household, TV, phone, iPad, all of that. And you could have the family in every different room streaming something different,
Yeah.
and
That's
if they're
something that
saying
really
that,
important to think about too, is that with everybody having different devices now, you can reach an entire house on a different device. Yeah, that's something I didn't even think about there.
yeah. I mean, if you're a business to homeowner, that's one thing with an electricity or plumber, it's not even a homeowner. It's just, a home. But we've seen really good results with restaurants and with clothing or, items that's direct to consumer type things. So think of a local clothing store, something, the new fashion week or whatever, that sort of thing. We've not found anything that it doesn't work really well for, because think in the 70s and 80s, commercials were always the local businesses.
Yeah.
And speaking of the networks, we also are on, you can get your ad on your local ABC, CBS, and NBC affiliates, right? So it is the networks, but they're on the local affiliates, because with the affiliates, they have the national shows, but their commercials are local. And so you can be in that spot.
All right. So tell me, because I feel like back when I worked in TV, it was not, as cheap as 2,000 bucks a month, to get a TV spot. So what's changed in the last 5 years to make this more accessible?
Well, and two, you had to have a full production company to make a commercial, and what's happened and what's changed is everything is digital. It's just changed the game completely. Again, we're at 1080, so it's a high def. HD is the quality. You're not 4K. So you literally can record a commercial with an iPhone,
Hmm.
or you can go and get a video production company to come in and do a fancy 30-second commercial, scripted and all of that. And we have that as well. So it just depends on where you want to be. But being that everything has gone digital, we're collecting so much data on the audience behavior, we can really segment and get it to what you're looking for.
So I think that that's one of the things, is that a lot of small businesses are are still in that mindset that TV ads are out of reach.
Mhm.
So, you said like, oh, like ballpark like two grand. Like walk us through the cost compared, but for TV ads compared to something like Facebook or Google ads.
So streaming TV ads, you've got the production, obviously. So it's usually going to cost about 1,500 or more if you come with the content and then we create the commercial. We'll do a 15-second and a 30-second commercial. Now, you can go and have that done somewhere else. With new clients that come on, we'll produce one commercial and include that. Your ad spend is $2,000 a month. And depending on what it is, then there's a management fee on top of that, depending on what you want to do and the packages that you choose. We have plans for different sizes businesses that could be different. When it comes to Facebook, you could do it for as little as $500 to $700 a month. You can do, $5 or $6 a day. So it depends on what you're targeting, who your competition is. So that the meta ads are a lower barrier to entry. It's still cold audience and you're looking for repetition. But the thing is that, do you want to be when somebody's sitting at home on their couch, or do you want to see when they're death scrolling? It really depends, Google PPC, again, another platform, higher intent. People are searching for something. Maybe they're specifically searching because they've got a plumbing issue. You want to come up there. It's a higher intent. It's going to be a much more expensive, and you're not going to do it for $2,000 a month. You're going to be spending a lot more money in most locations for that particular lead.
So, you mentioned a lot of different options from Amazon to ABC, NBC affiliates. If someone's listening today and they want to just get started, they're like, man, this is really good. Obviously, other than reaching out to you, tell us real fast, what's a great way for someone to get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is to go to mainstreetstreamingads.com and fill out a form. And then you'll be able to book a short call with me and we can chat about what your needs are and talk about that in detail. So mainstreetstreamingads.com. And, it's just that simple to get, to start a conversation. And then my suggestion to everyone that gets started is unless you are a language specific company, I would say take all the networks and let's be on all the networks first and then collect data for the first couple of weeks. And if you see that something's not servicing you, so you don't show on those. But it kind of works on that. It will give you, most of the people are going to be on Tubi or some of the other like Roku. Those are networks that have multiple channels. That's why they get a lot more views. Okay. So there's a lot more places for placement. So, but I suggest then we qualify by keywords, but specifically by zip codes. Say you only service a certain couple of neighborhoods, or maybe you service 4 counties. So we can go complete counties. We can do just a city. We can drop a pin on your office and say you only want to travel 30 miles in any direction. So it is very specific geographically on what you want the area that your ads will show.
So I think that knowing, starting everywhere on all the platforms, that's a great place to start. And then kind of doubling down like, okay, well, we're seeing great traction over on Hulu, or we're seeing great traction on whatever. That's one of the best ways to get started. So what, I guess, are you looking to see kind of like tracking clicks or tracking impressions? Like what conversions are you are you tracking to make sure that it's a win?
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's very important is we do set up tracking in the very, very beginning before it even starts. So we do Google tracking. We do all of those kinds of things and tracking from the platform. We can either send to a landing page or to your home page. And we put the tracking on both. If we do a landing page, then we also we put the tracking on your homepage because a lot of people are going to go, was that, plumbers.com? Okay. And you'll just type that in. So the brand will keep in mind. And so we're going to track the people that go there as well. So it has a lot to do with definitely being able to track the intent of people, how many are coming through. And one of the things we're doing landing pages for some of our clients. We can see verified visits. Now, so we have verified visits, but did we get a form fill? Did they fill out the form? Or did they click to call? And so we can track the landing, the form fill, and the click to call phone calls. So we track all of that intent.
So 14 times ROI, that's a pretty big wow. Like I would love to see 4 times ROI, 10 times ROI. So if someone says like what I've been doing just has not been working, here's $2,000, Marilyn. What would you would put it in TV?
Depends on, well, And that's not a good answer, but it depends. I look at the data. What have you been doing that hasn't worked? Right? Have you been running Facebook ads and you only have one image? Well, that's never going to work long term. Just like with the TV ads, we can start with one commercial, and it's really a good idea to roll in a second come month too. So you're
Mhm.
giving people options. They see multiple things. So yeah, if it's home services, I would definitely jump into to streaming ads, especially if your Google business profile is set and you're good to go. You have your website, your homepage is working really well. Then you've got what the traffic would go to work for you.
Yeah. I love that, I'm glad that you brought that up because I think that, you know, I mean, well, I guess what's one of the biggest mistakes that you see that businesses make when they first try to launch a streaming TV ad? Like, maybe they're like, okay, well, TV's where to go. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and throw 10 grand in behind this, video that we put on Facebook and it should kill it on TV then. Like I guess what's a big mistake that you see a lot of businesses make when they're first trying?
Yeah, the first thing is their Google business profile is not complete. So think about what you do. Let's back up to think about what you do. And whenever someone says, so and so Italian restaurant, you got to go see it. Even though you just saw a commercial and here is a link to go to it, you're going to type in so and so Italian restaurant. You're going to look it up. If that restaurant's Google business profile is incomplete, you don't have an address, whatever. If it's not good, you're going to go, I'm not going to go there. So you have to realize that even you as a person, not just people looking at your ad, what do you do when you're in the buying cycle? You research, you type it in, you ask Google, talk to me about blah, blah, blah. And if their, their, their presence isn't there, you lose, you lose value in that. So what I would do is I would make sure that you have your presence set up. Your website works. Your click to call on your website works. Your Google business profile has at least the basic information on it so that when people come and go, oh, okay, excellent. I'm going to click to call.
Yeah.
It's all of those things.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, and it's so true. Like, just making sure the basics are working are so important. And sometimes, well, it's funny. It's like a lot of times, like on social media, I tell people, like, when was the last time you just read your bio? Because, like, is it still accurate that your bio is up to date? Do you do what it says that you do?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like, make sure that everything is right. Well, Marilyn, this has been such an awesome conversation. Is there any other things about TV and streaming ads that you think the listeners should know before today's episode's over?
I think you need to understand and know that now is the time that it is cost effective. It's easy to do. And if you want exposure in your local network, in your local area, it's a really, really good way to get in front of people when they're just chilling. And, you know, instead of, Facebook, but make sure that your website is set. Make sure your Google business profile works. And yeah, start running ads. Start slow and increase your ad spend. You don't want to, I wouldn't throw, unless I was a personal injury attorney or something really competitive, I wouldn't throw 10 grand at it right away. But if you want to own the market, do it. But now is the time. It's super cost effective to get in front of your audience and build your branding, build your customer base.
Well, Marilyn, this has been awesome. Awesome conversation. I've been waiting to have a TV conversation for so long. So thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today. Tell us again, where can people get in touch with you? How can they reach out to you and get learn more about what it is that you do?
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much for having me. You can reach me at mainstreetstreamingads.com, or I'm also on LinkedIn, but mainstreetstreamingads.com. You can fill out the form, book a 15-minute call with me. I'd love to have a conversation with you and just get you started thinking about it. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, again, if you love this episode, take a second to follow Rocky Mountain Marketing on wherever you're listening. And if you want to dive deeper into strategies that, convert, connect with Marilyn, connect with me on social. And I'm going to give you a challenge this week. Go take a hard look at your digital presence. Make sure that your Google My Business profile is up to date. Are you running ads without a plan? Pick one thing from today's episode and take action on it, because strategy without execution, you're just making more noise. So thanks again, Marilyn, for joining us on today's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.